Send a man in motion to the near side. 2 receivers out to the left on 1st and 10 from the 42, and a yellow hanky on the field.
I think a little bit of motion there, Steve, on the part of the offensive line. And Sonny Lubick talking to his defense. Remember, this is a former defensive coordinator, and he's imploring his troops, you know, come on, hang in there. Let's not make these same mistakes. But again, you know, we came into this game, Steve, talking.
Prior to the snap, false start by the offense, 5 yards, it's still first down.
Steve, we came into this game talking so much about the Southern Miss defense and how highly they were rated and everything else. I'm not even sure they're the best defense on the field, at least tonight. Colorado State has been terrific.
Todd, there are your 2 twins right there. You were wondering which one was better looking. Identical, I'd say.
It looks like Jason's got a little bit longer hair. Just look at that. I mean, look at the hair too. It looks the same in the front. Look at that, matted down in the same spot. That kind of Elvis thing working down the front.
Good. More Elvis. Kevin McDougal, the carry there.
Man, that's great. What a great shot.
Jason is 22. Justin is 26.
I thought you said they were twins. One's 4 years older? What are you talking about?
That'd be their uniform numbers, Todd.
All right.
Both go 5'10", 190.
Oh, what a surprise. No, 165.
Well, they could be off by an inch or something. They could be off by a pound. That pass is overthrown. Overthrowing everyone, the white shirts and the black shirts. Here's Holly.
Hey guys, you're talking about the twins. You know, they have not been apart even for a week since 1978. But they had tragedy strike when their father passed on earlier this year. Neither one of them were on scholarship at the time, so they've really struggled financially to make it in college. But when a walk-on scholarship became available to Lucas Mallory, he said, hey, give it to the Gallimore brothers. One of them needs it more than I do.
Well, that's a great story. And of course, they've certainly justified themselves tonight. Jason with the block punt and Justin playing some outstanding corner.
3rd down and 17 now. 2.5 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Here's Newton under pressure, able to get it away to McDougal. And he carries along the far side. He's well shy of the 1st down. Leo Barnes made the stop, and then pressure from guess who? 97, Adalius Thomas.
Really thought that was a great job by Newton just to get the ball off. As you pointed, Thomas was all over him. They set up the screen, but here's the result. Watch how the screen is just a little bit soft. And when you short arm and the guy has to wait for the ball, as he did, now he cuts upfield. Of course, Barnes shows the great speed coming from safety to drop McDougal before he can get any additional yardage.
The 5th hurry of the game by Thomas. Horonek is back in punt formation. Sean Mills is deep, standing at his own 10-yard line. Horonek just gets it away. And they'll let it bounce. And it bounces out of bounds, they'll say, at the 12-yard line. A 41-yard punt. The 1:39 left here in the 3rd quarter. And really, all 3 quarters have taken on different personalities.
I was just thinking to myself, at the end of the 1st half, I was so surprised when you said the most points scored since 1970s.
I do not sound like that, by the way.
Okay. Anyway, after the 3rd quarter, I guess you're not going to be saying anything in terms of scoring records. Both defenses have been excellent. I'm sorry, was my voice too low?
You give me the old fake sportscasting voice. Colorado State, their offense, they scored 43 touchdowns this season. That's the 4th most in Rams history. Now playing defense against Southern Miss on 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line as they take over. And they'll take over for a nice loss on the play. Loss of 3 from Derek Nix carrying. Greg Pollard made the tackle.
Steve, I don't know if we should dwell on the 3 freshmen yet again. Of course, Nix was able to go over 1,000 yards, but I think that this is an issue. The front 7 for Colorado State is very experienced. They've been able to shoot the gaps on numerous occasions and stop the runners for Southern Miss to little or no gain. A lot of pressure then is going to be put on Kelly with his sore ankle to make some plays here.
They call it a loss of just 1, so we'll call it 2nd and 11. Here's Kelly throwing. Not close to the intended target, Danny Fowler.
Rhett Nelson does a nice job of pushing the receiver out of bounds, and even if he's able to catch the ball, it's not going to count. Good chuck up the line of scrimmage, and now Kelly comes up 3rd and very long.
Third and 11. Ball at the 13-yard line. Kelly was named starter. He started all 11 games this season, but he was named starter just 2 days prior to the opening. And he's put together a rather nice season. He's 12 of 26 so far in this game for 123 yards. And he looks to throw, and he's going deep. Got a man on the sideline, and he overthrows the intended receiver.
Pinkston had run that hitch route so very many times. This time, take a look. He doesn't settle down, and the result is the corner Nelson goes, uh-oh, 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 he's run past me. Kelly felt the pressure. They came with 6. He threw it a little bit too soon. If he could have hung in there, he could have delivered the ball on the money. Pinkston certainly is frustrated, as is Kelly. And you have to wonder, Steve, how much that ankle's affecting his throwing.
We have yet to see a big pass play long down the sideline, and it's been there a couple of times for both teams. And I guess if you're going to throw it and make a mistake, well, then you overthrow it as opposed to underthrow it, so it's not intercepted. Purser gets the punt away, and it's Dallas Davis who has to rush up to the 45 to make the catch, stays on his feet, and now is taken down. There is a flag on the play as he was dropped at the 42-yard line after a 29-yard punt and a 9-yard punt return.
Steve, very courageous on the part of Davis, but one thing that you and I have seen on a number of occasions
here comes the halo.
Is the halo thing. I don't know if that's what this is necessarily. Could be. Oh, he has to think about it. You're absolutely right. Wow. You the man. You the man. You're absolutely right.
There.
Well, again, because of the halo, it's almost as if, Steve, it's almost as if now the fair catch should be non-existent because there's so much pressure now on the guys covering.
Kick catching interference by the kicking team. 5 yards from the spot. First down.
That's going to set up excellent field position for Colorado State as they'll start right around the 40-yard line of Southern Miss.
To the 41-yard line.
37 ticks left in this third quarter. Colorado State with the football on 1st and 10 to the 41-yard line. 2 tight ends for the Rams. Pressure, throwing the out. And they say it was incomplete, looking for Wolstenholme, who earlier had a touchdown catch.
You can see the frustration on the part of Newton. He put the ball on the money, needed that catch. He has pressured every down, Steve. I don't know how many times, knockdowns or everything else, but it seems like every ball he has is hurried. 9 for 25 for 146 yards. Once again, a lot of credit to that Southern Miss defense, particularly the front 7 who's been pressuring him all night.
And Todd, he came in 60% completion prior to this game in the regular season. They're close to that here tonight. They pitch it to McDougal on the right side and unable to get back to the line of scrimmage. Delroy Stewart on the stop.
Stewart makes the tackle, but again, it was Adelius Thomas getting into the backfield, forcing it inside, and Stewart is down. Watch number 97 on the bottom of your screen. He is going to knife in there and force right there to cut back against the grain. There's the tackle by Stewart. Again, Southern Miss and their speed up front has been just a little bit too much for Colorado State to contain.
Stewart able to get himself off the field as the Ram looks on.
And Steve, of the last 2 series, Colorado State has been in. Here's where they should let the clock run out. It's down to 11 seconds. He could take the time right here, let it run out, go to the sidelines, chat with the coach.
Instead, they'll snap it, and Newton to throw. Across the middle. That play was there earlier. It's Redstock. They found a seam earlier in the game. That went for a big gainer. Not nearly as big there, only 7 yards.
Nice tackle by Keon Moore. And now they'll have a decision when we come back after the third quarter as to whether or not to go for it at the 35.
We'll have the fourth quarter when we come back. Southern Miss by 6.
Your web page will even make you feel differently according to how it is positioned. For example, here, the yin is strong, coolness, peace. Whereas over here, the yang is there, powerful, hot. And now, up here, the computer's just happy.
Who designs your website is up to you. Hooking it up and delivering the goods, leave that up to us.
You'll ship everything. FedEx.
FedEx, be absolutely sure.
Okay, everyone, think always on, fast internet connections. Data is video ready?
She's a huge file, but downloading fast.
Great trip. Oh, I don't feel so compressed.
Nice. What about voice? I'm coming. Okay, everyone, on 3.
Now there's a new kind of internet company called Rhythms that keeps you a step ahead. Rhythms DSL over a Cisco-powered network gives you always-on, ultra-fast access, so you won't miss a beat. Rhythms, it's where internet connections are moving.
Out here, the stories unfold like a map. Stories written across the sky with the tip of an eagle's wing. Stories to fill a scrapbook you'd want to page through again and again. But first, you've got to go to where the stories live. You'll need an outfitter for the journey. Ford is your outfitter. With the most far-reaching sport utilities on Earth, created to take you where the stories begin and never end. Ford Outfitters. No boundaries.
When we drafted Tim Duncan, I invited him to my home to get ready for the season. He was learning so much.
That doesn't count, you were out.
The roses are out, Timmy, not the daisies. So one day, you brought this into my home.
It's not something I'm proud of.
I calmly explained how Edge Pro Gel protects better than foam because it has 8 rich lubricants.
David sure knew how to make a guy feel comfortable.
More lemonade, Tim?
Edge Pro Gel. Save your skin.
The roses, Tim, are out of bounds.
Go with the gnomes. The gnomes can be out of bounds.
No.
Well, both offensives have to be happy to hit the fourth quarter. The third quarter provided a total of 108 yards offense. Colorado State had 45 yards total offense in the third quarter. Southern Miss just 63. They need some offense here on a 4th down and 4 for the Rams. Ball at the 35-yard line. Pivotal play early in the fourth. Throw across the middle, and it is overthrown again. Newton winds up on his back.
TJ Slaughter is the one that comes with the linebacker blitz right up the middle, right in the face of the quarterback, and that forces Newton to throw the ball, to have an overthrow. Slaughter is an intimidating young man with his earrings and shaved head, and he talks tough. Hey, got the tattoo, but he delivers.
Slaughter told his teammates, he said, look, I'm not going back to Idaho. They did not want to go to that humanitarian bowl. They are very, and we mentioned both schools, really, really happy to be here. And hey, it's champion versus champion.
Well, as Jeff Bauer pointed out, he felt like his group should be happy to be anywhere.
First and 10 now from the 35. And the quarterback, Kelly, stepping up, finding some running room. And he's able to pick up 7 on his own before Tuatelli makes the stop.
Once again, his 9th tackle, Tuatelli, all over the field. Kelly doesn't seem the worse for wear, Steve, with regards to his ankle. As we mentioned, the tough guy, there he is, TJ Slaughter. Isn't that what you'd want to have as a middle linebacker? I mean, it's almost like a prerequisite. You can't have a guy with, say, a perm, you know, really well-coiffed hair.
Wait a second, didn't you have...
I wasn't a middle linebacker.
Okay, all
what
right.
am I telling you here? Come on, pay attention.
You were a tough guy tight end, though.
Okay.
That's what I tell all my friends.
Second and what?
Screen out to the left. Complete to Fowler as he tries to cut it back. Maybe got a yard on the play.
Well, as you pointed out, Steve, interesting with regards to the statistics, neither team is over 200 yards in total offense, let alone the fact that they combined for just over 100 in the third quarter. Neither is averaging very much rushing, about 3 yards per carry. The defenses have really come to the fore, which is surprising here in the bowl season because we've seen tons of points scored in some of the others. Kind of fun to see a defensive slugfest.
Tons of points, and a lot of times tons of points by just one team. Really lopsided scores, but not here tonight. Among the lucky ones, and so are you, watching the 41st Axa Liberty ball from Memphis. Heavy-duty hit there as the receiver was just blown up. Big hit by Colorado State's John Howell.
Now, here's the thing, though, Steve. If you get it, when we get a chance to see it again, if he looks up, he's got an interception. There's the collision, as you pointed out. It made a lot of noise, and it was a big hit. But if he's looking upfield, Steve, he's got an interception, and he might go the distance. So many times when you got big hits like that, it's simultaneous, and the result is maybe, just maybe, if you have your eyes on the ball, you can get it.
John Howe, second on the team this season with 91 tackles. Doesn't get credit for a tackle there, but he doesn't need it. They're punting it away to Dallas Davis. That was the hardest hit by far of this football game. Davis at the 18, flag flies.
And I think it's the halo thing, but the man who was covering was very upset about the fact that he thought he was blocked into. It's a tough call for officials, I think. And that's what they're discussing right now. Was he blocked into him? What's his responsibility? Was it really 2 yards? Were you going after the game? You like B.B. King? You like ribs? What do you think?
Speaking of ribs, ribs have been outstanding in our visit here to Memphis over at our pals Corky's.
Now see, that was this is interesting. That was the debate. And Sonny Lubick doesn't like that. He was thinking to himself that watch the right of your screen. Once again, the man has been causing problems all night is Brandon Francis. Well, if we can't block him legally, then I'm going to have to tackle him, and that's what happens right there.
By the receiving team, that's 10 yards or half the distance from the end of the kick. First to 10.
Rhett Nelson is the one that got caught. Bad field position for Colorado State coming back inside their own 10.
This is sacred ground. This ranch has been in the Stevens family for 75 years. I know. I've helped 3 generations hold on to it.
Tom Rose, AXA Advisors.
The only way to keep a business successful and in the family is with smart planning.
AXA Advisors, part of a global company helping 40 million people.
It's tough out here. The weather, beef prices, and there's an uncle named Sam who always gets his cut.
AXA Advisors, building futures.
Luxurious Jeep Grand Cherokee. With QuadraDrive, our most advanced 4-wheel drive system ever, you can travel to the world's most exotic places. So there's no limit to what you might come across.
I need a vacation. Oh, there's one.
They're becoming quite common throughout the Southeast.
Indeed. I hear their calls everywhere I go.
With free roaming and free long distance for as low as $30 a month, no wonder people are flocking to PowerTel.
Tell me, have you ever noticed their tiny, tiny bills?
PowerTel.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 1999 AXA Liberty Bowl is presented by AXA Advisors. AXA Advisors, building futures. And in part by Jeep Grand Cherokee with legendary off-road capability.
With Graceland in the background, Todd's doing another Elvis impression, fortunately off camera.
Thank you very much.
And there is something in the stands. What was that exactly?
Big Bird. Big Bird.
Big Bird and Elvis. We've got it all. The 41st AXA Liberty Bowl.
Let me ask you a question.
I knew that was coming too.
Did you go to Graceland? Oh, you're too busy.
No, I did not.
Out of here.
I was studying facts and figures while you were out playing. Pitch it to the left side. And it's McDougal for a short gain.
Again, the Southern Miss defense able to stretch it out.
Here's Holly.
Standing by with the commissioner of the Mountain West Conference, Craig Thompson. There were a lot of questions coming into this year, a new league, but 3 tri-champions in bowl games. It seems to have worked out fine.
Well, I tell you what, we've had a fantastic regular season. Here in the postseason, we set attendance records in both the Las Vegas Bowl and Motor City Bowl. I think about 55,000 tickets sold tonight, so we're excited about this year.
Let me switch gears for a minute, if you don't mind. You've just been named the new chair of the Men's Division I Basketball Committee, replacing the retiring C.M. Newton. That's a big honor for you. And how will that affect your league and what happens in the postseason?
Well, hopefully we'll be at the same exposure nationally that our television partner ESPN is providing in football. You don't replace C.M. Newton, but we're excited. This 2000 season is going to be a tremendous tournament.
Well, congratulations on a great first year for the conference.
Thank you, Holly.
What a year it was for the Mountain West. Colorado State, she mentioned, sharing the championship regular season, tying for first place, 5-2 in the conference with BYU and Utah.
In addition to, and while we were away, once again, Newton finds himself on his back. The 10th hurry of the game, and I'm guessing, Steve, about the 15th time that he's been on his back.
Man in motion to the near side, they bring him back to the far side, and then they throw it to him, and Newton is able to complete the pass to Kapari. Has not been heard from much since the first quarter. It's a short pickup of just 4.
Adelius Thomas is the way. Adelius Thomas is the man that makes the play. They had that set up extremely well, but he comes from the inside to run it down from the backside. Otherwise, Steve, clearly that would have been a first down. The flag is down. It appears it's going to be a chop block, so it doesn't matter. But nonetheless, Adelius Thomas shows great speed and quickness getting to the outside. Watch number 97. The screen is set up to the left. Now he has the blockers in front of him, cuts back to the inside. Now watch the right of your screen. Here comes number 97. And a 6'4", 255, 260. He doesn't run like a man that size.
On the offense, that penalty is refused. 4th down.
Thomas is all over the field. He has had 2 forced fumbles coming into this, 5 hurries and 7 tackles. He is as good as advertised, Steve.
He had 9 sacks in the season. It's kind of an off season for Thomas, considering he had 12.5 last year. And again is the career leader in sacks, 34.5. Dion Hornick is back to punt from his own 2. Sean Mills is standing deep. Hornick gets it away. Spiraling kick that'll drive Mills back to the field. He fumbles a football. Loose ball. Colorado State jumping like they have it. Jason Gullimore might be on it and still waiting for the indication, and there it is. Colorado State football.
This is heads up on the part of the gunner, Steve. The gunner gets down quickly, but it looked like he might be in a situation where you could make the halo call. Watch at the end. You can see he pulls back. That's Nelson, and the ball is just absolutely dropped. There's nothing but white shirts. You knew that Colorado State was going to come up with the ball. I think that you have to be aware of that. Sean Mills needs to step up and make the catch. He short-armed it a little bit. It ricochets off the gloves. The result, a Colorado State turnover.
Rams take over now on 1st and 10.
Let me qualify that. Colorado State gets the turnover, rather.
You see the turnovers for the football game. 5th of the football game now. And they're going to throw, and they'll be sacked.
And guess who?
Adelius Thomas. But, Todd, that is what you talked about earlier. Off the turnover, let's go up top. And they tried that.
But it ends up costing him. And the reason for that is because Kevin McDougal is the one that has to make the block. And that is clearly a mismatch. McDougal is an outstanding runner, but 6 feet tall and 205 pounds. There's just no way that he's going to be able to pass block Thomas. He actually cuts him at the legs and gets him down, but Thomas is quick enough and resilient enough to bounce up and get the sack.
Thomas has done everything all season long. He had 4 blocked kicks this season, 2 blocked field goals in 1 game against Cincinnati. That's his 2nd sack of this game. Out to the near side, completed to Rebstock for the short gain. Raymond Walls on the stop after the gain of 5.
Steve, essentially they're able to get the yardage back from what they had on the sack, and now they come up 3rd and 10. And again, is this 4-down territory? Are you prepared to make 2 calls, or do you go for it all here on 3rd down and punt the ball? There's got to be frustration setting in on the part of Colorado State because they've had excellent field position on the last 3 or 4 drives. They just have not been able to capitalize.
4 for 14 on 3rd down conversions tonight. Here's 3rd and 10 now. Newton to throw. Short pass underneath. Might have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage, but not more than that. Dallas Davis on the short reception for a gain of just 1. Joey Pinkston on the tackle.
So there's no decision here, Steve. With 10:30 in the clock running, you're going to punt the ball, still only down 6. I think that shows a little inexperience on the part of Newton, but in fairness to him, when you've been knocked down as much as he had, as soon as you see a friendly face down field, you're going to deliver the ball. Clearly, there was no way they're going to get the 1st down, but maybe this affords them the chance to play the field position game, get another shot at it.
Again, unable to take advantage, though, of a Southern Miss turnover. Earlier, resulted in 3 points. Here they won't get any points out of it, and nearly blocked as Hornick gets it away. Sean Mills won't have to try it again as it goes out of bounds. And they'll take over on 1st and 10 now from the 17-yard line after the 31-yard punt from Harnack. Here's Holly Rowe.
Gentlemen, I'm with my two-time Liberty Bowl MVP, Harris Jones. We interviewed you last year. You were fighting for your life as a person in the St. Jude Children's Hospital. Success for your recovery.
It's just great to be back, and it's an honor for the Liberty Bowl to have me back. And it's just great to be out here again and have a clearer future of what I have ahead of me.
You were a finalist for the high school Heisman. You've been a football player, and you're back with the team at Murray State now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm planning on getting ready for the winter workouts and hopefully enter the spring drills. I'm not sure, how well I'll be, but I have a lot better outlook on than I did last year.
Well, talking about your outlook, you were clinging to life last year at this time. You look so fantastic. How's your attitude helped you in your recovery?
I mean, it's just I have a great family and great friends that help me out through everything, and I have a great faith in God, and I know without Him and without prayer I wouldn't be here.
Well, congratulations on your recovery. We're so glad to see you, and hey, nice hair. Good to see you with some hair back.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
All right, Holly, thanks. AXA, the corporate sponsor for this bowl game, donated $100,000 to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital upon landing the sponsorship in 1997. Since St. Jude was founded by the late entertainer Danny Thomas in 1962, it's treated more than 16,000 children from across the U.S. and 60 foreign countries. This is actually the only bowl game with two schools, not an all-star bowl game type, that is played for the benefit of the charity. And some more problems. We got a flag on the play. We'll sort it out. And speaking of the hospital, both schools actually went and visited and tried to brighten the spirits of some of the kids at the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. They treat about 180 children every single day, mostly on an outpatient bias. They focus on such diseases as cancer, AIDS, sickle cell anemia. St. Jude has more than 4,000 active patients at any given time, and nice to see both schools giving time themselves during this Liberty Bowl week. After the flag, 1st and 20. And a play that doesn't seem all that important after what we just showed you. 19 penalties in the football game so far. That's a pickup of 8 yards on the play.
Crucial pickup, too, because as they're going backwards with 2 straight motion penalties, clearly Southern Miss was not hitting on all cylinders, so Nix gets them back there with an 8-yard gain. And at least makes second down a little more palatable.
2nd and 12 from the 15 now. Southern Miss like to take some time off the clock. They're a 6-point lead. They look to pass. Heavy-duty rush and a sack. John Howell from the free safety position. He had that hard hit earlier, and he comes through with the big sack there.
Comes in completely untouched, and Kelly never saw him from his backside. Number 38 is able to penetrate between the tackle and guard. There you see him completely untouched. Actually, Kelly was fortunate just to be able to hang on to the ball, and that man, defensive coordinator Larry Kerr, seems to be pushing all the right buttons right now.
That's Howell's 5th sack of the season. He had a career game against Air Force in which he had 17 tackles. He's shown here tonight he's a heavy-duty hitter as well. 3rd and 20 after the loss on the sack. And they'll play it safe and keep it on the ground. And it is Derek Nix who is slung down to the turf. And once again, here's Holly.
Guys, the defensive coordinator for Colorado State, Larry Kerr, told us that he had noticed on film that Jeff Kelly seemed to get nervous when he even felt pressure and really try to get out of the pocket. So he said they were going to blitz early and often because he knew that was a tendency of Kelly's. Seems to be working tonight.
Coming up on 8 minutes now left in the 4th quarter, and it is working, Holly. Southern Miss will punt it away. Jamie Purser is standing on his own goal line. Dallas Davis at the 50. Rams should get great field position, down by just 6. And here's Davis able to step forward at the 49 across midfield, and he'll bring it to the plus 40-yard line with 7:39 to play here in the 4th quarter. Colorado State down 6. They'll start at the 40-yard line.
A financial representative is like a good coach.
Lynn Medeiros, AXA Advisors.
First, I gotta have all the financial X's and O's. Second, I gotta motivate people to do their best, to execute the game plan.
AXA Advisors, part of a global company helping 40 million people.
And sometimes, I have to blow the whistle and say, look, do this. It's good for you. It's what your family needs.
AXA Advisors, building futures.
People are beginning to think of the automobile not just as a family vehicle, but as a personal and individual means of transportation.
The throb of a powerful engine. Now for a moment, imagine yourself as driver of this automobile. You really have to drive it.
At the Chrysler Proving Ground,
Give them an expressway, and their drivers are...
I think we made the scenic back roads fun to drive.
Second down as we come back. They were able to complete a pass to Pete Rebstock while we were away. Now they put it on the ground to McDougal, who inches closer towards the first down. Pick up a 1. Should bring up a 3rd down and 1.
And Steve, one of the things here for Colorado State needing to overcome the frustration, their average starting field position has been outstanding in the second half. Right at about in the last 3 drives, it's been the 47-yard line for Southern Miss. On the Southern Miss 47-yard line, so they need to make some hay. And as I look at the clock with 6.5 and running, this fourth quarter has really gone by quickly.
Missed opportunities for sure, Todd, throughout this game by Colorado State. They could very easily have the lead in this game instead of trailing by 6. Misdirection there. McDougal tried to break through the line, but couldn't get there. Pick up maybe of 1.
Steve, I don't understand that play. When you've got 3rd and 1, you don't want to go misdirection because that affords the linebackers a chance to step forward and get a tackle for loss. Now they're 4th down and they're going to have to go for it. Just go straight ahead between your tackles. Get the first down.
And that's one of the things McDougal runs well, as we talked about, north and south, jumping right into the hole instead of a stutter step. And there you see the comparison on the running backs here. And, you know, McDougal's 2.2 yards per carry, the star back for the Rams. Here we go. It's a 4th down and 2. They got to get to the 30-yard line, and a timeout is called. Colorado State will take a timeout. They have now only 1 left in this second half. Down 6. Could be costly.
Make Embassy Suites your first choice. And get free long distance and free roaming in over 3,400 cities across the U.S. with PowerTel 50-state rating. PowerTel, proud sponsor, 1999 absolute.
People are beginning to think of the automobile not just as a family vehicle, but as a personal and individual means of transportation.
The throb of a powerful engine. Now for a moment, imagine yourself as driver of this automobile. You really have to drive it.
At the Chrysler Proving Ground,
Give them an expressway, and their drivers are...
I think we made the scenic back roads fun to drive.
Or give them any country or suburban road, rough or smooth. They're the type of people who like the feel of a flying machine.
Love to drive. The renowned engineers of Chrysler.
A minimum of ornamentation and a minimum of chrome moldings.
He's a regular firecracker. The sounds of nature sing their prettiest over the rich, throaty obligato of his engine.
Even sheet metal can have a soul.
And they give you back the romance of driving.
And that is why these will never land on an ordinary car.
And you find out what exceptional unity of man and machine has been achieved.
So far in this second half, Colorado State has managed a total of 60 yards of offense. They need it to be 62, and right here on a 4th and 2 upcoming at the 32-yard line.
And even though Newton has had his moments, Steve, he has struggled. 14 for 32 for 172 yards.
But this has been one of the themes. Again, good field position off turnovers, and the Rams not being able to capitalize, and this could be another spot like that if they're unable to pick up these 2 yards.
Well, clearly the Southern Mississippi is a quality defense, but one of the things that you point out besides holding teams down is they always seem to get a big play when they need it. T.J. Slaughter there, 2nd and 1, no-brainer. You think easy first down. He penetrates, drops him for a loss, and now you come up, 4th and 3. That was a big play there on the 3rd down for T.J. Slaughter. Sonny Lubick trying to be upbeat. Come on now. Get excited about this. And the reason he's doing that is because Colorado State has been so frustrated, Steve, with the great field position they've had, haven't been able to even get a field goal attempt.
Just the 6th bowl game in Colorado State history, starting with a 49 Raisin Bowl, and they haven't been in a bowl game until the 1990 Freedom Bowl. Now they're throwing, ball batted and nearly caught. I wouldn't have had enough for the first down anyway, but it's a batted ball knocked away by who else? Adalius Thomas, and they turn it over on downs, and now you got to go back to that 2nd down play.
Well, Adalius Thomas, as you pointed out, has certainly been the star for Southern Mississippi. Here he's going to come isolated, pushes the man in the backfield. He realizes he can't get the sack, so what does he do? He reads the quarterback's eyes, jumps, get an angle on the ball, gets a piece of it, and as you pointed out, even if Davis does come up with a catch, he doesn't have the first down. And I know what you were getting at, Steve. The issue there is that play by T.J. Slaughter on 3rd down turns out to be huge, because forced to go for it on 4th down, they're not able to come up with it. Thomas, what a game. 9 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 tip pass, and 2 forced fumbles.
As good as advertised. And that's not always the case in college football, as you pointed out earlier. They put it on the ground. Derek Nix gives us an opportunity after the gain of 2 yards to share with you the Beck's storyline from Memphis. There you see, it was a wild first quarter. We had 3 blocked kicks, including 2 punts and 1 extra point. You see the takeaways and the points, and Kevin McDougal hyped at the start. 24 carries, just 53 yards.
But in fairness to McDougal, let's also point out that both his starting left guard and left tackle left very early with injuries. And again, you are going against the number 8 ranked defense in the country.
Southern Miss take some more time off that clock. 4:50 to play in the 4th quarter. They lead by 6. And the clock continues to run.
And that defense has been a cohesive unit. You know who they remind me a little bit of, Steve? Earlier in the year, you and I did a Virginia Tech-Pittsburgh game. They remind me an awful lot of that Virginia Tech defense. Flying to the ball, very cohesive. Both the secondary and the front 7 doing an excellent job. Tonight they have held their opponent to 212 total yards. In this day and age in contemporary football, where they throw the ball all over the lot and they have all those great offensive sets, that's pretty amazing.
3rd down and 7 now from the 35. And again, the quarterback belted as he released. Kelly got rid of it, but again, overshot his wide receiver as he took up pounding. Here's Holly.
One reason the Colorado State offense may be stalling here in the 2nd half, their leading receiver of the early 1st half, Joey Kupari, is now out with a separated right shoulder. The young freshman was having a breakout game in the 1st half, but a hard hit here in the 3rd quarter has put him out for the rest of the game, guys.
Kupari, you might recall, had the first 3 receptions. The first 3 passes that Matt Newton completed were all to Kupari.
And Steve, this is interesting, the lull that has come over the crowd and us in general. The fact is that they're still only behind by 6 points. But Colorado State has been so inept offensively that you can see Southern Miss content to run the ball twice and know the defense playing as well as it is to get them back on the field.
Good stop for a return to Dallas Davis, but he catches it and makes the fair catch signal. And so they haven't done well with great field position. We'll see how they do with mediocre field position.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're gonna love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You gotta eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism, so you end up burning more calories.
Strength training these days isn't just for men. It's great for women, too. And Bowflex is designed for both. It's even been called the best home gym by Fitness Magazine.
Use as little as 5 pounds to more than 400 pounds of resistance. Follow our 6-week fast fat loss program or create your own from over 60 different health club quality exercises.
Bowflex is easy to own, and it fits in any room in your house. It comes with a 6-week guarantee on results, and you can finance it with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
The nation's 7th oldest bowl game has all the makings for a fantastic finish. Colorado State down 6, but they've got the football. And they have just one timeout remaining. To burn a couple earlier, that could be costly. Under 4 to go. Flag on the field as they complete the pass to Jose Ochoa, the tight end. We'll see if that comes back.
I have to be guessing offsides here, Steve.
There is no foul on the play. Second down.
Or I'm guessing that there is no foul on the play. Take a look at the face of the quarterback. I tell you what, there is a little fear there, and the reason for that is the number of times that you get knocked down. It's all well to talk about courage and hanging in there, but at a certain point when you've been hit as many times as that young man has, you can see that in his eyes. He's going to have to really come with it here with 3:35 and counting here in this final drive.
I mentioned the offensive lineman being injured, not just affecting the Cougars blocking, but affecting the shots Newton takes. That pass was batted away by Roy McGee. Coming up next, the Sanford Independence Bowl. We'll send you to Ole Miss, Oklahoma.
That's going to be a great one. Josh Heupel, however you pronounce it. Boy, he's been thrown for over 3,400 yards. And, of course, we had the chance to get a look at Ole Miss with Deuce McAllister, Joe Gunn et al.
Remember that 100-yard kick return to open the football game?
He's a talent.
That was great action. 3rd down and 3. Rams need some offense. Down 6. Off the play action. Newton rolling and firing. And it's complete to Rebstock. And it's good for the first down. Exactly what Colorado State needed. A pickup of 6.
Steve, you know how when you watch baseball, the center fielder or the right fielder catches a ball and it sticks at the top of the glove and you call it a snow cone? That's what happened there with Rebstock. He makes the catch. He cradles it. And you can kind of see the top of the ball sticking out of his arm. Fortunately, he's able to hang on. Watch the end of the play and watch the ball if you can. See the ball, it's kind of stuck right there just at the top, but he's able to hold on for the first down.
Rebstock was 2nd on the team in receptions, had 30 of them in the regular season. And adding to his total. Now Newton wants it all down the sideline and overthrew his receiver, Dallas Davis. Good coverage there by Terrence Parrish.
Went with a little bit of an out-and-up move, but Parrish wasn't buying. Ran with him stride for stride. That forces the ball out of bounds. Good coverage by the secondary of the Southern Miss Golden Eagles.
Again, no one's hit that play yet tonight. We've seen a ton of those down the sideline, good coverage, and even times where the receiver has the corner beaten by a step, the ball just hasn't been put there.
Well, in both cases, Steve, it was discussed that both quarterbacks were erratic. They have their streaks that are good and their streaks that are poor.
Colorado State had 2 fourth-quarter comebacks this year. Will there be a third? Flag on the field. Pass is completed to Dallas Davis. Those 2 fourth-quarter comebacks came against Wyoming and Nevada. They have another one.
This definitely has to be offsides. The reason I knew that, Steve, is because the guy that threw the flag sprinted downfield to make sure the mark was good at the 44. And as soon as you know that, you know that that's a defensive penalty.
That penalty is refused. 1st and 10.
At this point, Colorado State will take all the help they can offensively if Southern Miss wants to give them a break or two.
And see, as Jeff Bauer is saying, watch the holding. Dallas Davis is somebody that's going to have to come up big this drive. As was pointed out by Holly Rowe, the young freshman is not going to be in there, even though he had 3 early catches. So look for Davis and look for the tight end to come through as well here.
See what they do with a fresh set of downs. Here's Newton under pressure, locked in the air, and just an inch beyond the outstretched arms of Frank Rice. Nearly caught up to it. Rice earlier scored a touchdown off a reverse handoff.
Now, Steve, take a look at Rice as soon as he looks. And the reason I'm saying that is when you're running like this with your head back, you're not going to get as far as you can if you can sprint straight ahead. He extends his hands. Steve, if there's some way that he could have run and looked just a little bit later, he could have come up with that ball. And you can see the frustration by Newton. He had what he wanted. He had the single coverage. He just couldn't quite get the touch on it.
On that slow motion, it looked like that might have caught a fingertip or two. Newton now 17 of 39. He's 3 of 6 on this drive, and he's going to throw again. It's there across the middle to Rebstock. tries to shake and bake at the 42, but he is dropped right there, but it is for a first down.
I was going to say, T.J. Slaughter actually helps him out there. It appears that he's going to be dropped for about an 8-yard gain, and then Slaughter comes from the middle. Watch the catch. Great catch under pressure because it's a little bit short. Look at that. Picks it almost right off the ground. Now watch as he spins around. T.J. Slaughter is going to come from the top of your screen, whack him forward for the first down at the 42.
Revstock has been key during this drive. He's been the go-to guy. Newton looking up top again and nearly intercepted. Good coverage. Looking for Frank Rice again.
Brutely is in on the coverage, but I tell you what, Rice actually helps his own cause because that should have been an interception. This ball is underthrown. Look at Brutely. Stride for stride. Now watch Rice at the last minute. I think he was able to get a hand in there. He does right there. But certainly that was a ball that should have been picked.
Brutely's been hampered by an injured ankle, but he was there step for step with the man and should have had the pick. As you point out, 2.5 to play now in the fourth. Been a terrific game. Here's Newton now. Steps up and fires. Sideline. Got his man. And it's Will Lane making his first reception, and Brutely is there to make the tackle after the pickup of 12 and to move the chain.
But once again, Lane pressing forward with the big body. Brutely's able to spike him, but not until he can get those last couple of yards to get the first down and move the sticks. And that's a big deal, Steve, because of the inability of Colorado State to convert on 3rd and 4th downs.
How about Lane? He had 4 catches all season and is called upon to make a huge grab here.
Yeah, this is great. This is great.
Coming up on 2 minutes, 4th quarter. Rams down 6 with the football, and again they had just 1 timeout remaining. This is the 10th play of this drive, and Newton, the gunslinger, again off the fingertips, it looked like, of Revstock, and again good defensive back coverage by Leo Barnes, the safety, helping out. But how about Newton throwing downfield?
Yeah, he's doing a lot better in this drive. He went with a pump fake, which looked like the slant, and went out top, but they didn't know that Barnes was going to be there. Barnes covers a lot of ground there in center field, does a great job of getting there and breaking it up at the end.
The Liberty Bowl record for pass attempts, guy by the name of Champagne on New Year's Eve, Tony Eason, threw for 55. That was Newton's 43rd attempt in this game. Here's Newton looking for some more. Another attempt, and that one they call it a catch, again off the turf, and it's Dallas Davis.
Now the time, Steve, now the time is an issue. Now down to 1:40. Dallas Davis is able to get his hands underneath. The pressure is all over Newton. Great job by number 27. Look at the hands. That's a catch. Good call by the officials to let it stand. Now with the clock running at 1:27, it becomes an issue. It is the ally of the Eagles.
3rd down and 3. Only 1 timeout left. Newton throwing. And again, good defensive back coverage. Frank Rice, the intended receiver, and Brutely, all of a sudden, been a huge factor on this drive. Got his hand to break it up.
And you can see that Lupic is trying to talk the official into a penalty, but he's not going to get it. And now here it is once again, Steve, 4th down.
Minute 19, clock is stopped.
Now you're saying to yourself, why aren't they calling a timeout, Steve? This is what it comes down back to what you pointed out. They burned those timeouts early. They want to save 1 timeout.
The play of the game, Newton across the middle. It is knocked away, and there is no flag.
Now this is interesting because you saw Barnes make the play and then sprint around and look and see as to whether or not he got away with it. He did. He comes over the top and is able to break it up.
T.J. Slaughter had the pressure. That's the 13th hurry tonight by Southern Miss. Newton's been under it all night, and a great breakup by Barnes. We'll be right back.
I have a couple who came in and had just so much cash, and they were petrified. They wanted to retire, and yet they weren't sure they could retire.
Katie Leiprand, AXA Advisors.
We took an inventory of all their assets and showed them they could achieve the income they were used to.
AXA Advisors, part of a global company helping 40 million people.
I'm helping others reach their goals. I just love to see things grow.
AXA Advisors, building futures.
Hey girls, Why so glum?
And you are?
Come in. I'm the 1-800-COLLECT advice guy. Talk to me.
Well, we did do some excellent shopping. Manicure, pedicure, tube tops in 7 colors. And a henna tattoo.
So?
We're out of town and out of cash.
Call Daddy. He'll wire you more. Use 1-800-COLLECT and save him a buck or two. He'll think you're responsible.
Yeah, excellent. Hey, which color? Smog or dirt?
Oh, you're on your own there. 1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two.
I'm just in for a couple of days with a sink, bottle of shampoo, and a dream. What do you think I should see? Can I ask you a couple of questions about shampoo? You want to try great shampoo? Pert Plus. This is reformulated Pert Plus. It's got water-based conditioning. Okay, fine. She looks great. How do I look? You know, one thing I can say, Las Vegas has the most uneven pavement I've ever seen in my life.
Steve Levy, Todd Christensen, Holly Rowe, wishing you all a happy and safe new year as we have 1:15 left. Colorado State down 6. They can only stop the clock one time. And Southern Miss thought about passing, and they slide down.
No, they didn't, Steve. They weren't thinking about it at all. That's exactly what Kelly was doing, was taking as much time off the clock as he could before he got touched, as opposed to kneeling down and not taking enough off. Now, this is a big 4th down play. Take a look at Barnes on Swoboda. Now, interestingly enough, sometimes this goes as interference. Watch the right and left hand. The right hand is on the back of Swoboda, but Barnes able to get around with the left hand and make the play. The official decided no, he's not going to call interference. He's going to let the play go. Certainly the consternation of Colorado State, but give credit to Southern Miss. They made the defensive plays all night long. Sonny Lubick doesn't like it, but it stands.
You know, Todd, we were told about that front 7 for Southern Miss. The 4 DBs are pretty darn good, too. I think they've played an outstanding game. As the clock winds down in the final 20 seconds, we're getting set to send you to the Sanford Independence Bowl. Ole Miss against Oklahoma. Clock is stopped. Colorado State takes their final timeout.
And Steve, you had pointed it out, very astute. The loss of that one timeout to the equipment, whether it was the mouthpiece, whether it was the knees, I think that's what it was. The pants were a little bit too high. Proved to be costly down the stretch, because certainly there at 4th and 2, that would have given the quarterback the chance to go over and talk with it, make a decision, be absolutely sure of what you wanted to do. Instead, they had to hurry it up. He throws to a young man that hadn't caught a lot of balls all season.
And in case you're talking about the equipment, and it was, Holly reported that it was the pants above the knee. It's not just the referee sees that all of a sudden and bang, penalize them. They are warned, repeatedly warned the particular player, which was not named, by the way. And after a 3rd or 4th warning, they finally did penalize them, a timeout. 15 seconds left before we send you to the Sanford Independence Bowl. Rich Walls, Gino Torretta are standing by.
Hey, I got to tell you something. Here in the second half, we scored 3 points, right? It was 20-17 at half.
That's right.
This has been exciting. I mean, it's been a terrific second half. I mean, if you like defensive football and you like to see people that can play on that side of the ball, you had to love this football game. Adelius Thomas is a star.
Second half entirely different from what we saw in the first quarter and what we saw in the second quarter. And that should do it. Colorado State cannot stop the clock in the 41st AXA Liberty Bowl. Billed as champion versus champion. 14th ranked Southern Miss, the champ out of Conference USA. They defeat Colorado State, the champs out of the Mountain West. For Holly Rowe and Todd Christensen, I'm Steve Levy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy New Year. We send you to the Sanford Independence Bowl, to Rich Walls and Gino Torretta.
It's been a long time since you've seen Oklahoma Sooner fans at a bowl game. But guess what? They're back. At Oklahoma, Bud Wilkinson won 3 national titles. Barry Switzer, 3 more. As the century closes, Bob Stoops has breathed new